One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free, then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken, he rides onto his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. A legend in the making, day by day.
TGIF to all you legends out there. Thank God it is Friday. Great to see everyone in the chat. Yes, sir. We got a lot of shit to get through this morning, as you guys probably know. I also have a very lengthy day today. We're going to be doing not only the show, but then, of course, we're going to be on the campaign trail like we have been. So, anyways, let me go ahead and tell you guys what the actual title of today is. And then, of course, I'll go ahead and chronologically break down what stories we're doing. So, Brown University shooting suspect is dead now. I guess I don't know exactly because I haven't actually watched it, but I have all the titles, all the updates and all that stuff, but I think he unalived himself. Then we have Trump suspends green card lottery program. I guess that's happening sometime today, or that did happen today. And then regarding the deadly boat strikes over there in Venezuela, there's a lot of action going on right now. So right now, let me go ahead and give you guys what we're going to start off with and what we're going to end with, right? So plane crashes at regional airport in North Carolina, and this actually killed the NASCAR driver. I'm trying to see if I have the actual name of the driver in here. No, I do not, unfortunately, but it happened over there in Statesville, North Carolina. I'm sure it's going to say in the video, but that was a terrible scene, by the way. And then another thing that happened yesterday, and I warned you guys that was going to happen yesterday, as well as I let you guys know it did happen in the Discord yesterday. Trump signs executive order reclassifying marijuana. So he's bringing marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, and that's a huge deal because, first of all, anything in Schedule 1, we couldn't actually test. We couldn't do a whole bunch of science regarding it. We couldn't figure out anything. We couldn't do any studies on it. Well, now that it comes down to Schedule 3, actually, now we can go ahead and start doing a whole bunch of tests. This will show the benefits of cannabis, so that's it's just totally fantastic. And then, so check this out. In the exact same, like an hour later from Trump doing the executive order, regarding the marijuana reclassification, House GOP pushes back against Trump's executive order. These fucking people. I just don't get it. Okay, so I got the guy's name. NASCAR legend Greg Biffle. I think that's how you say his name. I'm trying to be respectful, obviously, but I'm just illiterate as fuck. And family killed in North Carolina plane crash. It's absolutely terrible. 2 of his children and his wife and himself, unfortunately, died. Just miserable men. And in regards to the Brown University shooting, police enter a storage facility linked to the suspect, and then all of a sudden, Brown University, right after that, comes out with university suspect found dead with self-inflicted gunshot wound. Yes, that's exactly what I thought happened right there. And then Another interesting thing regarding this, because remember, we were just talking about an MIT professor that just got killed in his own home, and they couldn't find who the murderer was. Ironically, police have linked Brown University and the MIT shootings to the same person. So he was, I guess, responsible for both of them, allegedly. I don't know how they're able to tie that in with MIT, but I'm sure we're going to find out. Also, a new video emerges 2 hours ago, just 2 hours ago. New video emerges. U.S. double drug boat strike kills 5, 28th strike. So, meaning this is the 28th strike in total. This one just killed 5. So, U.S. Southern, on December 18th. So that's yesterday. At the direction of Pete Hegseth, Joint Task Force Southern Spear conducted lethal kinetic strikes on 2 vessels operated by designated terrorist organizations in international waters. Intelligence confirmed that the vessel were transiting along known narco-trafficking routes in the Eastern Pacific and were engaged in narco-trafficking operations. A total of 5 male narco-terrorists were killed during these actions, 3 in the first vessel and 2 in the second vessel. No U.S. military forces were harmed. Very interesting. And then we have the guy, we actually have pictures of this guy, the Brown University shooter, as well as the MIT shooter. So it says right here, police search for a motive in Brown University and MIT shootings. Suspect found dead. Yes, as you guys know. But that just came out as an hour ago. So we got a lot to get through this morning. I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for being in here. Let's go ahead and do our call to actions real quick, and then we'll get right into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's absolutely free to do so. Double tap that screen as well. Listen, man, we got over 135 of you guys in here right now. So you guys don't have to like the craziness around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. As well as make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because it's also free. But let's go ahead and get into the money part. Please consider becoming a member starting only at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, the campaign trail. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. So make sure you guys follow me over there. As well as we have a Discord server for all of you legends, so make sure you guys join up on that. One of the mods will drop the link for you. If not, go down into the video description down below of any live video, and I'll have the invite links for all that stuff. Okay, last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live onto the show and shouted out. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to. And, of course, I will read out anything that comes our way. I've got my email up, and I'll read it out loud just like a super chat. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for being in here. You guys are all legends in here. I see we got Code in here as well as Sick Bastard. Thank you for the raid, by the way, this morning. We got a Grillipus as well as TVT up there in Canada. We got Warland as well as Jimmy Mack and Rabbit of Chaos. Thank you guys so much for being in here. We got SNS as well as SST. Good morning, good morning. And I don't know what you're talking about. It's fake. I'm telling you exactly what the fucking facts are. So anyways, let's see. We got Lone Wolf as well. Appreciate you. We got Miss Lotus as well as Gary. Appreciate you guys. Prez, thank you all so much. And for everybody that I missed, we got to get right into this shit. All right. So we're going to start this off with plane crashes at Regional Airport in North Carolina. And this is, yes, unfortunately, the exact plane where the NASCAR legend Greg Biffle and family was killed in this crash right here. So here we go.
And welcome back to Live Now from Fox. As we continue to follow some breaking news, we're getting reports of a plane crash out of North Carolina. Here's what we know so far. Authorities say a business jet crashed while landing at a regional airport in Statesville, North Carolina, erupting in a large fire. Now, the Federal Aviation Administration said the plane crashed while landing at Statesville Regional Airport around 10:20 this morning. The National Transportation Safety Board...
So it literally happened right before I was going live yesterday. That's essentially when it happened. And then I didn't actually see any of the big reports of this until after I got off the live stream.
FAA are now investigating.
What's up,
Video
Papa?
showed first responders rushing onto the runway
Vigil,
as flames
great to see you
burned
guys.
near scattered
Virgil.
wreckage from that plane. The airport said on its website that Statesville Regional Airport provides corporate aviation facilities for Fortune 500 companies and several NASCAR teams. I also wanted to share with you here a statement that we do have just coming in.
I'm surprised that they didn't show the actual burning there. Oh, maybe we will have a little bit of that, but okay, so real
Here,
quick.
and this is from the Statesville Regional Airport confirming this incident. It says, incident at the Statesville Regional Airport. We can confirm there has been an aircraft incident at the Statesville Regional Airport at approximately 10:15 a.m. An aircraft crashed while landing. Federal Aviation Administration is en route, and we will investigate the incident. No further details are available.
Brutal. Okay, so let's go ahead and scroll ahead here and see if we can get any
Highway
images.
Patrol. They described the aircraft as a small
This is the worst image I've ever seen in my entire life. There we go.
Greg Biffle, and that's according to FAA paperwork. Unclear who is aboard the plane at this time or the condition of.
Well, we have the update of that, so we're not going to go ahead and do, speculate or any of that shit. We have the facts, so we're going to move on. But first, before we get into that, we have a couple of stories in a chronological order. So we'll get back to that story here in a minute. Now, let's go ahead and move over to Trump real quick. Trump signs executive order reclassifying marijuana. Again, this is going from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 and will allow a lot of research for, cannabis products and stuff like that. We weren't able to do any type of research when it was Schedule 1. So this is a big deal. Here we go.
And more, including numerous veterans with service-related injuries and older Americans who live with chronic medical problems and severely degrade their
What's up, Joseph? Up there in Canada, our favorite snow Mexican, and he says, "Stop the cat."
Stop the cap.
My man, great to see you, by the way. Always appreciate you.
quality of life. And it's so really, I can't tell you, I think I probably have received more phone calls on this, on doing what we're doing. I don't think I received any calls on the other side of it, but hopefully this reclassification, which by the way polls at 82%, will help many of those patients live a far better life. We're joined today by Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's doing a fantastic job, Administrator of Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, the FDA Commissioner, Dr. Marty McCary, Director of the National Institutes of Health, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya.
Yo, Gary, that is fucking funny. Absolutely. Independent research, homie.
And the Director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, Dr. Nora Valkow, as well as Dr. Ilana Braun from the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Duke University's Dr. David Casseret, the National Commander of the American Legion, Dan Wiley, and my friend Howard Kessler. Howard, how you feeling? I'm telling you, he looks better than he did 20 years ago. But I don't want to go through what you went through to get there. Right? But it looks like you're doing great. I'm proud of you. I want to emphasize that the order I am...
Miss Lotus, listen, I'm just going to tell you, for pain, let me just go ahead and explain this. Okay, as an amputated person, so for the people that don't know, I'm also amputated here. So you guys can see that. Okay, so the way that I best describe it is it doesn't take away my pain, okay? But what it does allow me to do is it allows me to focus on whatever the hell I'm focusing on. So the way that I think of it is like when I stub my toe, I'm instantly thinking about me and that pain from stubbing my toe, right? But if you can magically kind of distract yourself a little bit and be able to focus on something else, you don't necessarily focus on the pain so much. So that's the way that it works for me. But I just wanted to let you guys know it doesn't directly take weed away from me, but pain, but it does help in different areas.
Not the legalization, or it doesn't legalize marijuana in any way, shape, or form, and in no way sanctions its use as a recreational drug. It has nothing to do with it. Just
Speaking of, we have 420 people in here exactly. Damn. 420 people. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I very much appreciate you guys. Let's
Prescription painkillers may have legitimate uses, but can also do irreversible damage and never, if you look at some of the damage that can be caused, wreck lives. And
no, he's not legalizing it. It's still going to be illegal, essentially, but it's just going to be treated as normal pharmaceutical rather than it being treated like heroin.
If it's abused,
or fentanyl.
It's never safe to use powerful controlled substances in recreational manners, and especially in this case, if you take a look, illegal and unregulated drugs, very, very bad thing. So I've always told my children, don't take drugs, no drinking, no smoking, and just stay away from drugs. I have been, they would look at me and they said, Dad, would you stop saying that? I would say it every time I looked at it practically. Young Americans are especially at risk, so unless a drug is recommended by a doctor for medical reasons, just don't do it. At the same time, the facts compel the federal government to recognize that marijuana can be legitimate in terms of medical applications when carefully administered in some cases. This may include the use as a substitute for addictive and potentially lethal opioid painkillers, and they cause tremendous problems. And this can do it in a much lesser way, can make people feel much better that are living through tremendous pain and problems. 40 states and multiple U.S. territories have already recognized the use of medical marijuana. This reclassification order will make it far easier to conduct marijuana-related medical research, allowing us to study benefits, potential dangers, and future treatments. It's going to have a tremendously positive impact, I believe. We're also asking Congress to reconsider its classification of hemp-derived CBD to ensure seniors can access CBD products they have found beneficial for pain and other reasons. Some people are literally dying, and they're dying with tremendous pain, and this...
Yeah, it's terrible, dude. Fucking people dying with pain like that when they could have actually used something that's not going to actually cause them of any type of death, but it could make them a little bit more comfortable, and they refuse not to because it's illegal, you know? Like, damn, bro.
Can, in many cases, literally stop it, and they have their senses about them, as opposed to painkillers, which don't allow that, don't allow them to die with dignity, frankly. I promised to be the president of common sense, and that is exactly what we're doing. This is really something having to do with common sense, and it's something having to do with the fact that so many people that I respect ask me to do. People that are having problems, big problems. They are having big problems with illness, with cancer in particular. I now want to ask Dr. Oz to say a few words, followed by Dr. Braun, Dr. Casseret, Dan Wiley, and...
What's up, Gas Mask? By the way, great to see you in the chat.
Dr. Valkow, and we'll...
Mountain Woman, as soon as, good morning.
They're complete, and we'll take some questions. Please, go ahead.
Mr. President, thank you for always bravely pushing for common sense change, as you call it. So President Trump, Secretary Kennedy have been pushing for change. They're passionate in their desire to help the American people, and they have relentlessly pursued this agenda throughout this administration. This also includes a deep passion for research, gold standard research, as Secretary Kennedy also says. But there's another side to the president that often isn't reflected in media reports, and that's the deep passion he has for the people in his life. And he has called me frequently about the people who are calling him, as he alluded to, who are saying that they've got problems and they got relief from some of the solutions we're talking about today. Howard Kessler, who's standing behind me here, was a mutual friend of ours, was an early caller of the president.
And I'm a huge advocate for it as well. And man, it could help so many people, especially people that are in my shoes, you know, literally and figuratively. But there's so many things, whether it be PTSD, whether it be, you know, whatever the case is, pain.
Many others have ever reached out as well.
What's up,
and
Tiffany?
Howard's been a passionate advocate for avoiding narcotics, especially in seniors, and particularly seniors suffering from cancer. And that's a population that is a very important one, and it's a sympathetic population that's desirous of trying new ways, besides some of the conventional approaches that have been tested by pharmaceutical companies but have untoward side effects. At the beginning of the year, one of the first things the president told me, he doesn't actually tell you, he demanded from me, that my agency, CMS...
Nobody demands from him. Nobody. You have to know him.
That's right. Used all tools at his wherewithal to find a better way to help seniors. A passion for a population that has gotten left behind with these discussions. I promised...
That's fucking hilarious, Papa. He said, Papa Penguin says, I don't use drugs. On a unrelated note, I need to get some more bourbon. Shit.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
That's pretty fucking funny, bro.
That we would find an answer, even though it had not been done before. And today we are delivering on that promise. Today, our Innovation Center at CMS is announcing a new model and additional actions to give seniors access to cannabinoids. These are CBDs, and they're not addictive, which many are already using to manage pain. There's some clinical evidence that's showing that CBDs provide relief from common conditions that affect Americans, including cancer symptoms and chronic pain and a slew of other problems that affect disproportionately seniors and our veterans. And 6 in 10 people who use the CBDs report that they improve their pain. I think all of those people are calling the president, judged on the number of calls in support of what we're doing today. And sometimes these decisions are difficult, and there's a reason this happens.
Okay, Dr. Oz, you know what I mean? Just get that shit over with.
A few moments later.
Shit. Let me see the motherfuckers. He didn't sign it yet. Let's go ahead and see. He's going to have all these people sit here and talk to his ass. Meanwhile, I really don't care about that too much.
On this issue, this is a question, a scientific question, that has divided our country for many, many years. And there are valid claims on both sides. On one side, patients and physicians attest that cannabinoids and THC can have miraculous effects on chronic pain, on epilepsy, on PTSD, on chemotherapy-induced nausea. My friend Howard Kessler, without whom we wouldn't be here today, has drove this change in the schedule. But he did it because of his own experience in mitigating the impacts of chemotherapy. There's nothing to gain from this. He just saw something that worked for him, that worked for thousands of other Americans, and he wants to make it available to them. On the other side, there are valid claims about the negative impacts, about addiction, about psychosis, about adverse public health impacts, and impacts particularly on young people. So we haven't been, the evidence on all of these is anecdotal and it's hypothetical because we have not been able to do scientific studies. There is no standardized dosing. And if you don't have standardized dosing, any study that you do is comparing apples to pears. And
okay, sounds good there, sir. We're just going to go ahead and move on, get to him signing this bitch.
You could ask them.
I want to hear what he's got to say as he's signing it.
Opening a lot of eyes.
Okay, hold on.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And I'm far younger than 65, so this does not pertain to me. Thank you. I don't want it, okay? I'm not going to be taking it, but a lot of people do want it. A lot of people
What's up, Brother Lee? Great to see you in the chat.
need it, and thank you, Howard, for really opening a lot of eyes. Okay, we'll sign it. We'll take some questions from the press.
We don't need to listen to any questions.
And it's an honor to do this. That's a good one.
What's up, Ghost? That is a good one.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Any questions, please?
Mr. President, a health-related question on your health.
We don't need to do that. He's going to go into other questions, and it's not even going to be about fucking marijuana. Of course. That's typical. Anyways, real quick, House GOP pushes back against Trump's executive order. Literally an hour later from that signing, the House GOP is wound up about it.
President Trump signing an executive order earlier today. He reclassified marijuana as a less dangerous drug, a move that could ease regulation and boost research. But it comes as there are some House Republicans that demanded President Trump reverse his course after strongly considering a marijuana executive order. So for the very latest, let's go out to Fox News' Mark Meredith with a breakdown of this.
Hey, Mike, good to see you. Merry Christmas, of course. One of the big questions here is about what's next. So the president today signed an executive order, which basically directs the attorney general to wrap up the law enforcement review of whether or not to reclassify marijuana. This was a process that started under the Biden administration. Health and Human Services looked at it, kicked it over to the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, which falls under law enforcement. So the attorney general has basically been waiting to see what was going to happen. The president's executive order says, let's wrap this up and move Schedule 1 marijuana from a Schedule 1 drug to a Schedule 3. Schedule 1, of course, is the harshest of drugs that is out there. This will move it to a schedule.
I mean, that's the same level as fentanyl, heroin, and we all know that, right? But being able to bring it down to Schedule 3 is such a benefit because we can actually start researching and seeing what it can help in cancers and pain and all sorts of stuff that we can test now.
Schedule 3, which is the equivalent of Tylenol
great.
or codeine. So the idea here is that it will still be used for medicinal purposes. It doesn't legalize on a federal level recreational use of marijuana, but instead it allows the federal government to work more with marijuana to see what practical implications there might be for Medicaid users. For Medicare, I think actually I should say Medicare is going to look to see what they can do with this for elderly Americans that may have pain.
And real quick, we got my homie. We got Brother Lee Lance coming in with the dollar dues saying, yeah, boy. I can't do the voice. Yeah, boy. Shit.
There
Thank
have,
you
of
for
course, been
that.
so many
Making it
clinical research
rain.
trials done when it comes to marijuana, but because of the designation, the federal government has had to be a little more careful about what studies it would support, things to that effect. Here, basically, would green light it to go to the same level except Tylenol with codeine. But you also have to look at here, there is such a political component to this. There were a handful of House Republicans, Senate Republicans, who were begging the president, please do not do this, and the president decided to go forward with this anyway. Maybe one particular reason the president even brought it up today was that he believes that the polling shows the majority of Americans want this to happen. Gallup had a poll that came out in November showing 60% of people believe marijuana should be used recreationally, legalized nationwide. We've seen so many states already go through with that. I mean, you think I was in Colorado back in 2012 when voters legalized it on a ballot initiative, and since then we have seen so many other states go in that same direction.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that they have.
And Mark, marijuana has often been described by some as a gateway drug. Was that the reason that some of these House Republicans were urging the president to reconsider?
Mike, you're right. This is something that for decades back, I mean, Republicans have been pushing this issue. You think back to Nancy Reagan and the Just Say No campaign, that they believe this is a slippery slope. And you're right, a lot of Republicans believe that this is not the right message to send, especially when so many American kids right now are struggling in school, dealing with post-pandemic worlds, whether or not saying, okay, marijuana is safer, that's the case. And the president even brought this up in the Oval. He said, well, wait a second, I'm not saying that you should do this, but for those who may need it for medicinal purposes, this is what's necessary.
That's, of course, that should be able to go unsaid, but... And
you bring up another great question here is, what about the people that all of us rely on every day, whether it's your airline pilot, your bus driver? What will this mean for them? Will they still be, have to have workplace restrictions on what kind of drugs they can or can't use? This opens up all sorts of new questions.
What's up, Dragon Classy? And great to see you in the chat. And yeah, anytime that they say that it's a gateway drug or any of that, it's all cope. That's the old school. That's like the boomers fucking... propaganda that they believed, you know what I mean? Anyways, back to this.
Here, because if it's treated just like medicine and you get a prescription for it, could an employer say, no, well, you can't use it? And we just don't know. These are all things that have to get worked out here, Mike, in the next several weeks and months. And this EO is just that. It's an executive order. I would bet there is going to be a lawsuit challenging whether or not this change can happen. But this EO also only directs the attorney general to move forward. It's not like the president himself is saying, all right, let's just make it Schedule 3.
Yeah, it'll be so interesting to see how it definitely trickles down to really all facets of life. Mark Meredith, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox. Merry Christmas to you and your family. We always appreciate the updates.
Thanks. Stay warm out there.
Perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and move on. Now back to the plane crash, the unfortunate plane crash that killed NASCAR legend Greg Biffle and family killed in North Carolina plane crash. So him, his 2 kids, and his wife, unfortunately, died in this accident. Just miserable, man. So, anyways, let's go ahead and bring this up.
As we continue to roll on, we
very
want
quick
now
update.
Take you back out to North Carolina for an update on this tragic plane crash involving NASCAR legend Greg Biffle and his family. We want to go out to the very latest right now on the ground. That is where we are joined now by Fox 8 North Carolina's Danny Hardin joining us on the ground with the latest. What can you tell us?
It's just a sad day in NASCAR. As you mentioned, it's been confirmed Greg Biffle, a superstar in the sport, not a superstar, but a NASCAR driver over the last 20 years or so. He died in a plane crash today. It has been confirmed that his wife, Christina, was on board, a daughter, a son as well. I'll step aside here. Reports say that it happened here at the Statesville Regional Airport. They took off about 10:05 this morning. There was some trouble, and they returned back to the airport shortly after that before the crash happened. You can see the blue and red lights flashing down there. About a couple hundred yards away there. There's reports that visibility was not good at all this morning at 10 o'clock. Right now, it's drizzly, it's raining. But this morning, the visibility was not good at all. Again, this is just a tragedy for the NASCAR family, and it is a NASCAR. It really is a family in this sport. Whether accidents and tragedy happens on the track or in something like this, it's just a sad situation. Greg Biffle, a great racing career. He won a truck championship. He won an Xfinity championship. He got really close to winning a Cup championship. He won 19 Cup races during his career. He was a nominee for the NASCAR Hall of Fame recently as well. Just a sad day for everyone involved in NASCAR.
Yeah, it really is, Danny, and I'm so glad that you talked about how it really is a NASCAR community. When you hear of the news, you really have that community support coming from really all over the country and around the world. As much as Greg was such a superstar on the track, he was even a better human being off the track with his really, after Hurricane Helene really devastated parts of North Carolina, he really did help out community members there.
He really did, and he not only did he offer up his plane, but his helicopter, his boats. I mean, he just saw that his state that he lives in.
He's a NASCAR driver. Greg Biffle is his name, TVT.
This great state of North Carolina was so devastated by that hurricane. He wanted to do anything possible, and he wanted everyone else to just join in and help. And yeah, Greg Biffle was kind of a hero during the aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
And no doubt about that. Danny, we appreciate all the updates on the
ground. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Brown University shooting. Police enter storage facility linked to suspect. And this is right before they found him unalived, before they found him dead. So let's go ahead and bring this up.
We're going to be checking in.
And we're not going to play the whole thing here. I just want to hear a little bit of what the investigation is. We're probably going to skip around a little bit on this, and then we're going to get into the actual where they found, they found that he was dead. So,
National Security Analyst and retired Marine Intelligence Officer Hal Kemper. Hal has all seen. We do.
Direct high-level source on the ground says that they are about to enter the storage facility, and the reason you saw all the officers in the parking lot just standing there was because they were watching surveillance footage to see whether the suspect was in the storage facility still. ATF, FBI, and Providence police all on the scene. Oh, wow. So let's go ahead and skip ahead here. And so this is right before they were going in. It looks like they went in. Just kind of scrolling ahead here, seeing if we get anything, because we don't need you guys to sit through 20 fucking minutes of them just showing nothing. Skipping ahead. Okay, so they really didn't show too much. They just showed officers on the scene and shit like that. Okay, so cool. Let's go ahead and move in, though, into the shooting suspect found dead with self-inflicted gunshot wound. This was the breaking press about it yesterday. So let's go ahead and bring this up.
Okay, so I am reading here.
All right, thanks.
Saying this.
Okay, here we go.
Saying this. Sources confirming to her that the suspected shooter has been found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound inside the storage facility. This is the first official report.
Yeah, TVT, unfortunately, his wife was on the plane, and so was his 2 kids. So all 4 of them, unfortunately, died.
Of the suspect's condition, there was some, and let's take our live vantage point of the scene. All 3 of these are live images. A self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Oh, shit. And Brother Warland, always appreciate you. Merry Christmas as well. We'll see you here on the flip side.
Inside the storage facility. The suspect still not named, by the way.
You're a member, so we'll see you tomorrow.
Taylor had earlier said that it was a suspect in his 40s, but nothing more specific than that. Now it appears, according to Brooke Taylor of Fox's reporting, at the very storage facility that you're looking at in the big box on your screen, this is the facility where the suspected shooter has been.
What's up, Carney? And yes, that is unacceptable. Yo, now we've got 258 of you guys. Well, now 342. Make sure you guys hit the like button and double tap the screen on the vertical side. I very much appreciate you guys. You guys don't have to like all the fucking craziness in the world, but you guys can like it for me and my takes and what we do here, man. So
found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police have been. It started with a response to a vehicle that appeared to be abandoned by the suspect. Shortly after that, you know what, let's listen to this press conference for a moment.
We're going to work our way to the right. Everyone gets one.
What's up, Carney? Good morning to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday, your fucking Friday.
Question, and then one follow-up question. 20 minutes, starting now, likely longer, maybe 25 minutes. Thanks.
So this is only a minute longer, so I'm not sure what else they're going to show here.
Wanted to make sure we didn't miss that. Okay, so 20 minutes or more until we get an update from officials.
Okay, I see. I understand what's going on here. They're announcing that they're about to do it. I see. Okay, so at least we got the little update that we needed there, but here's the actual ordeal. I see what they did here. They broke it up.
Good evening. This evening at approximately 9 p.m., federal agents breached a storage locker in Salem, New Hampshire, in search of Claudio Neves Valente, a Portuguese national we believed shot and killed 2 Brown University students and an MIT professor in Brookline, Massachusetts. Federal agents found Neves Valente dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The United States Attorney's Office in Boston, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New Hampshire have been working throughout the day to establish probable cause to charge Neves Valente. Earlier today, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Massachusetts.
Now, by the way, if you guys are just tuning in, there was also an MIT professor that was shot a couple days ago, a few days. Well, it was actually a little bit longer than that, but whatever. There was an MIT professor that was shot that we reported on as well, and then we reported on the whole Brown University shooting. So then they found out it was linked to the same guy, which is this guy that they found dead.
It's filed a criminal complaint under seal detailing the chain of events over the past 6 days, including information that led us to today's search of the storage locker in New Hampshire. This is what we learned during this multi-jurisdictional
Brother Motobomb, good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat.
Investigation. Neves Valente studied at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island on an F1 visa around 2000 to 2021. He eventually obtained legal permanent resident status. Previously, he attended the same academic program as the MIT professor Nuno Loureiro in Portugal between 1995 and
You know, TVT, the only thing that I would say is on this, it's no matter if you're going to have guns, you're going to have problems. No matter what, whether they be legal, illegal, you're going to have that problem. So the way that I would counteract it is everyone have fucking guns. I mean, that's essentially how you balance it out. You know, everyone's fucking carrying, everyone's respectful. That's just kind of how it goes. You get out of line, bam, fucking you're done. But unfortunately, you are going to have fucked up shootings, mass murderers, school shooters. You're going to have these problems. But the best thing that we can do is prepare for shit like that. And for instance, like at these school shootings, one of the ways that we could absolutely help that situation is by having armed security at the schools. I don't understand. We protect everything we give a fucking shit about with guns, money, government people, fucking celebrities, all this shit, fucking banks, all this shit, infrastructure. We do all that shit with guns, but then meanwhile, fuck the kids. You know, I just don't understand it. Anyways, there's things that we can do, and that adds more guns, essentially.
2000. Although Neves Valente appeared to reside in Florida, between November 26th and November 30th of this year, he rented a hotel room in Boston. On December 1st, he rented a gray Nissan Sentra with Florida plates from a car rental agency in Boston. That same day, he drove to the vicinity of Brown University, where his car was observed intermittently between December 1st and December 12th. On December 13th, Neves Valente entered an auditorium on Brown University's campus during a study session and began shooting at students, killing Ella Cook and Mohammad Aziz Umarzokov and injuring 9 others. Between December 13th and December 14th, Neves Valente returned to Massachusetts. On December 15th, he murdered MIT professor Nuno Loureiro.
So he went on a fucking spree. It wasn't just the MIT professor and then the Brown University shooting. It was like a whole series of events this motherfucker went on.
At Loureiro's home in Brookline, Massachusetts.
Wow.
At some point while he was in Massachusetts, he switched the plates on the Nissan Sentra to an unregistered plate out of Maine. Immediately following Professor Loureiro's murder, Neves Valente drove to a storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire, where he had rented a storage unit in November of this year. Since the December 13th shootings at Brown and the December 15th shooting in Brookline, state, local, and federal law enforcement officials have been working hand in hand around the clock to identify the shooter and prevent him from inflicting further harm.
Which, by the way, we do have that picture. I wonder if they show the picture in this press thing right here, but maybe not. I have the picture, the most updated story on this, which is just an hour ago. Police search for a motive in Brown University and MIT shooting, suspect found dead, but we have what he looks like. And I'm looking at it right now. I'm going to show you guys here in a minute, but let's go ahead and get a little bit more from this release.
I have said this before and will continue to believe when law enforcement agencies work together, crimes are solved and the public is protected. The information we provided to you tonight would not be possible without the dedicated men and women of law enforcement in multiple districts throughout New England, including the FBI, ATF, HSI, the U.S. Marshal Service, Massachusetts State
Self-inflicted gun wound, Ash Wolf.
Police, Rhode Island State Police, Providence Police, Brookline Police, and the Brown University Police. In addition, prosecutors from the Rhode Island Attorney General's Office and the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office and federal prosecutors from Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts all contributed to this result. I also want to thank Attorney General Pam Bondi for her support in coordinating the federal response.
Very true, Scott.
Can you tell us anything about his motive and the two sets of victims and how they might be related and how he might be related to them?
Exactly. That's the only question that I really wanted to hone in on and try to figure out was how do you guys figure that these are linked shootings?
That is not information that we can share right now, but as soon as
you fuckers.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
That's brutal.
Bruh. Information becomes available, we will share that with the public.
Okay, so you're not going to tell me anything I need to know right here then. All right, we're moving on. First, before we give you guys what he looks like, first we have a very quick update from the military, actually. U.S. double drug boat strike kills 5. This is now to make their 28th strike. This happened yesterday, but is being reported just an hour or a couple of hours ago. U.S. Southern, let's see here, December 18th, at the discretion of Pete Hegseth, which is yesterday, Joint Task Force Southern Spear conducted lethal kinetic strikes on 2 vessels operated by designated terrorist organizations in international waters. Intelligence confirmed that the vessels were transiting along known narco-trafficking routes in the Eastern Pacific and were engaged in narco-trafficking operations. A total of 5 male narco-terrorists were killed during these actions, 3 in the first vessel and 2 in the second vessel. No U.S. military forces were harmed. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll discuss it real quick, and then we'll get right back into what the suspect of the MIT shooter, the professor from MIT shooter, as well as Brown University, and other fucking things, we actually have what he looks like.
We're learning the U.S. military says they have conducted more boat strikes. Let's put this video up on your screen here.
And by the way, make sure you guys hit that like button as well as double tap the screen. You guys don't have to like the craziness that's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here, as well as hit that subscribe button, man. We do this Monday through Friday and then Saturday morning for members only, man.
The U.S. military saying yesterday that it had conducted 2 more strikes against boats it said were smuggling drugs in the Eastern Pacific Ocean, killing 5 people. That's just some of the video on your screen there, but I wanted to pull this up here quickly. This is a post from U.S. Southern Command on social media, and it says, on December 18th, at the direction of SecWar Pete Hegseth, Joint Task Force Southern Spear conducted lethal kinetic strikes on 2 vessels operated.
What's up, Brother Glare? Good morning to you.
By designated terrorist organizations in international waters. Intelligence confirmed that the vessels were transiting along known narco-trafficking routes in the Eastern Pacific and were engaged in narco-trafficking operations. A total of 5 male narco-terrorists were killed during these actions, 3 in the first vessel and 2 in the second vessel. No U.S. military forces were harmed. Hashtag Op Southern Spear. So once again, that was posted to social media last night as we are learning a bit more about this. The military saying 3 people in one vessel and 2 in the other were killed. The attacks brought the total number of known boat strikes to 28, while at least 104 people have been killed. That's according to numbers announced by the Trump administration. President Trump has justified the attacks as a necessary escalation to stem the flow of drugs into the United States and asserted the U.S. is engaged in, quote, an armed conflict with drug cartels. This all coming after the Senate gave final passage on Wednesday to an annual military policy bill that will authorize $901 billion in defense programs, while pressuring Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to provide lawmakers with video of strikes on alleged drug boats in international water near Venezuela. The annual National Defense Authorization Act, which raises troop pay by 3.8%, gained bipartisan backing as it moved through Congress. It passed the Senate on a 77-20 vote before lawmakers plan to leave from Washington for a holiday break. 2 Republicans, Senators Rand Paul and Mike Lee, and 18 Democrats voted against that bill. The White House has indicated that it is in line with President Trump's national security priorities. However, the legislation, which ran over 3,000 pages, revealed...
Yeah, but Congress is not stoked right now, I can tell you that.
Some points of friction between Congress and the Pentagon,
right,
as the Trump administration shifts its focus away from security in Europe and towards Central and South America. The bill pushes back on recent moves by the Pentagon. It demands more information on these boat strikes in the Caribbean, requires that the U.S. keep its troop levels in Europe at current levels, and send some military aid to Ukraine. But overall, the bill represents a compromise between the parties. It implements many of President Trump's executive orders and proposals on eliminating diversity and inclusion efforts in the military and grants emergency military powers at the U.S. border with Mexico. Still, the bill did face objections both from Democratic and Republican leadership on the Senate Commerce Committee and the head of the National Transportation Safety Board. And that's because the legislation could allow military aircraft to obtain a waiver to operate without broadcasting their precise location, as an Army helicopter had done before a mid-air collision with an airliner over Washington, D.C. back in January. To address those concerns, the Senate advanced a bill to require all military and civilian aircraft to broadcast their locations. That bill will now go to the House, and Senator Ted Cruz says he's optimistic it could reach the president's desk as soon as next month. So a lot of backstory there for you, but we do bring you this breaking news as we do know now. The U.S. military is saying just last night it had conducted 2 more strikes against boats it said were smuggling drugs in the eastern Pacific Ocean, once again killing 5.
All right, so we're going to move on. This is our final story for the morning, by the way. And it is the Brown and MIT professor shootings suspect is dead, but we have an image of what the guy looks like here. We've got an ID. Let's go ahead and get this. And there he is. There's his fucking ugly ass mug.
Who are just tuning in, we learned a lot of information there as a search for the suspect in last weekend's mass shooting at Brown University ended yesterday at a New Hampshire storage facility where authorities discovered the man inside. Officials say he was also suspected of killing a Massachusetts Institute of Technology professor as well. The Providence police chief said 48-year-old Claudio Neves Valente, a former Brown student and a Portuguese national, was found dead last night from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Investigators believe he is responsible for fatally shooting 2 students and wounding 9 other people in a Brown University lecture hall last Saturday, then killing Portuguese MIT professor Nuno Loureiro 2 days later at his home in Brookline, nearly 50 miles from Providence. Perez said, as far as investigators know, Neves Valente acted alone. Brown University President Christina Paxson said Neves Valente was enrolled there as a graduate student studying physics from the fall of 2000 to the
What's up, Crystal Kitten? Great to see you in the chat.
Spring of 2001. Neves Valente and Loureiro previously attended the same academic program at a university in Portugal between 19...
They found him with a self-inflicted gun wound inside of his storage facility, inside of a certain storage facility.
1995 and 2000. Loureiro graduated from the physics program at Instituto Superior Técnico, Portugal's premier engineering school, in 2000. And the same year, Neves Valente was let go from a position at the Lisbon University. That's according to an archive of a termination notice from the school's then president in February of 2000. Neves Valente had studied at Brown on a student visa. He eventually obtained legal permanent resident status in September of 2017. It's not immediately clear where he was between taking a leave of absence from the school in 2001 and getting the visa in 2017. His last known residence was in Miami. A lot to discuss here.
Wow. Okay, so we're not going to go ahead and discuss this with this guy here. We're going to skip this. And of course, I'm going to show you all the pictures and video of the guy him walking away, the ones that we already saw. So we don't need to see that, but I do have a quick update on this exact case that just came out 50 minutes ago. So Brown shooting, Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, identified as shooter suspect, and they also have where they're going into the facility, the storage facility or whatever that he was in. And this is when they found him dead.
And you're looking at a video right here coming in from WBZ out of Salem, New Hampshire. That is where last night law enforcement heavily surrounded a storage unit where they...
over there in New Hampshire, that's where they found him.
Inside, they discovered the body of their suspect. Those investigators say he took his own life shooting himself and had likely been dead, potentially there, for several days. A lot to discuss about this case as it has played out here. So I do want to bring in Ed Cash, Homeland Security expert who served in President George W. Bush's administration, now the president of Frontier Security Strategies. Thank you so much, Ed, for taking the time to be here with us today.
Morning, Josh.
Good morning. Well, first off, I do want to ask you, because you heard the Rhode Island Attorney General there essentially saying it was a witness who kind of helped to piece all of this together and lead to a solution, so to speak, for an active investigation that didn't really have too many credible leads at the time. So what does that say to you about kind of the importance of the public in a situation like this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we talk 30,000.
And we will listen to what this guy's got to say. He is a Homeland Security expert, they call him.
Foot level, see something, say something. That kind of goes across the board, whether something suspicious at an airport or a situation like this. After they released the additional photos.
Really, Tony? Interesting. I didn't know that.
Those and more clear videos. I think it was either Tuesday or Wednesday night. I'm sure a $50,000 reward assisted as well. And there are hundreds of leads that come in, but what is real? What is not real? What's coming from halfway across the country from someone versus someone that was, as we've seen, right down the street that saw this person in live in person.
And these are some of the photos that were seen in the court documents that were released late yesterday as all of this kind of was unfolding here and we got more information. How challenging, though, is it to determine whether incidents like the Brown University shooting and the MIT...
What's up, Brother Dean? Great to see you in the chat, bro.
Professor's
Good morning.
murder
Happy
are
Friday.
connected because they have now been connected, and authorities say that this man is responsible for the 3 deaths of the people that you see on your screen there.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where this connection...
And there was actually other victims prior to these 3. So it's like he went on a rampage.
Brown University, MIT, 2 very influential universities, and Mr. Valente went to Brown. So what is the motive here?
No idea about that yet, Prez.
It just I'm very interested to see how that will happen, how they'll discover that, and you'll look at his social media, financial records, all across the board, because he graduated there in 2001. This isn't a recent student that got expelled from MIT or Brown that is upset. So very interesting to see
wow
how this plays out and the motive for this.
One thing that's interesting here is
he's held rage for that long.
Is we mentioned kind of the fact that, you know, the tips came in here, but one of the other important notes is that the suspect is no longer alive. The suspect found dead there at that storage unit, with investigators saying he may have been dead for several days. The most recent of the crimes was on Monday night. So what I wanted to ask you is here, when you have a shooter who is deceased, how does that maybe make it more difficult for investigators who are working to kind of piece all of this together?
Yeah, they would, of course, want the shooter alive so that they could interview him and find the reasoning for this. But no, they will talk to family members.
Yep, and that's essentially where we're going to be at here. Unfortunately, they're just going to have to gather a whole bunch of evidence, and we're not going to get these answers right here, right now. And that is the latest update from everything. I just double-checked it from the news source side. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Obviously, I can't do this shit without you guys. TGIF to everybody, you know, make sure you guys have a safe weekend as well, but a good time. And also, we're going to be back tomorrow morning for, of course, members only. If you guys are members, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. It's uncensored. We get down with our bad self. We definitely don't necessarily talk about world news, geopolitics, and stuff like that. We actually try to have a good time over there. So anyways, much love, honor, respect, everybody. If I don't see you guys on members only, I'll see you guys on Monday morning for more of the World's Menace. Until then, God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon. Much love, honor, and respect to everybody. Shit.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on 2 wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit.